Good morning. How are you doing today? Like I said, I'm still new to this stuff, so the music thing will seem a little bit cheesy for the next few episodes. I am still trying to get the hang of it. Unfortunately, my friend Derek is not going to be in this episode like I did tell you from last time. I've got a bit of a cold, and it's been kind of a busy week for me, and it's been kind of a busy week for him. Also, my boyfriend won't appear in this episode, but I'm hoping that pretty soon that more people in my life will come in and help to talk about our topics. So today's topic is going to be Earth-like planets. So this will be a two-part segment. I will start off today talking about basic things, what I mean by Earth-like, and then our next episode, which probably will be Monday, I will go more into detail of actual planets out there, like just more in detail stuff. We will go over some planets today, but next episode will be more in depth with the topic. So that's why it will be a two-part series. So totally leave your comments and questions, because it is a two-part series, or a two-part segment. If you do still ask a question about this topic that you ask on the next episode, I will still answer it, because like I said, I always will try to do a recap of episodes prior when it comes to topics, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to answer your question just because a topic is over. So feel free to leave questions and comments. I do love those, and you can leave them below this video. So excuse me for having a cold, but I will continue this topic. So the first thing that I mean by Earth-like is we have found so many planets out there. I would say there have been about 759 confirmed planets. There are more planets out there, but they're unconfirmed, so it means that we're not 100% sure if they're there. It could just be a mistake in the light, it could just be a mistake with science, but we know that of 759 for sure. And that has came from 1995 till now that we found over 700 confirmed planets. Our first confirmed planet we found was back in 1995. It was 51 Pegasus b. It is a gas giant planet, and they call it a hot Jupiter. And by hot Jupiter, it means that it's relatively the same mass as Jupiter. It could be bigger, it could be a little bit smaller, but relatively the same mass as Jupiter, so it is a gas giant. But by hot Jupiter, it orbits relatively close to its star, anywhere from, 1 day, like its year is 1 day to 7 days, for example. And those are obviously planets that orbit really, really close. We know of our solar system, and none of our planets orbit that close to its star. Even Mercury does not orbit as close to our star as some of these hot Jupiters that we find. So that was probably our first ever confirmed planet back in 1995, but we've come such a long way since then. We're now in 2012, and we've found so many different sized planets, and some are super Earths and some are Earth-like. So those are the ones that we're going to talk about over this two-part segment. So by Earth-like, I don't necessarily just mean that it has water and land. By Earth-like, I mean it could be the same size, it could be a relatively the same mass, but does not mean that life could harbor there because it's too hot or too cold. I think the ones that we will talk about will be the ones that everybody would rather hear me talk about, and those are the ones that are actually water Earth-like planets, ones that could possibly harbor life. And I'm just going to tell you guys right now, if you Wikipedia any of these planets, you will get information, but I will let you know I don't just get my information from Wikipedia. Wikipedia gives you a summary of what I know about these planets. I get my information elsewhere, which doesn't matter. That's my secret. But because it is a hobby of mine, I am an online planet hunter, but I will let you know if you do go to Wikipedia for these planets, you'll get kind of a summary, but I'm going to tell you this right now, don't always trust everything that Wikipedia says, because my information is going to be pretty much a summary of Wikipedia, like the same as Wikipedia, but like I said, if you go, oh, well, Wikipedia says this, well, I'm just letting you know Wikipedia doesn't know everything. It might have everything on there that you can search, but it doesn't mean it knows everything. It's just, Wikipedia, as far as I'm concerned, is a summary of everything that's out there. Whether it's an animal, whether it's planet, whatever it is. It's all a summary. So the first Earth-like planet that really got me intrigued in being an online planet hunter was Gliese 581G, which later became an unconfirmed planet. So they're not sure if it exists there, but if it does, it is located in its habitable zone. It orbits a red dwarf star, which is the smallest type of stars, M stars. They're the smallest type of stars. I won't go into star classes, but you can also Wikipedia that if you want to know more about star classes, but I will let you know right now, when I'm talking about red dwarfs or M stars, which is the same thing, they're the smallest known stars. And a lot of these planets that I'm talking about will orbit 3 different types of stars, and those will be the ones that I'll just kind of summarize. But yeah, Gliese 581G, if it is actually there, it could just be a hiccup in space, meaning it's not really there, has a year of about 37 days, and it orbits in the habitable zone. So if it is a true planet, it would have water, but it would be tidally locked, so that means that one side would always be facing the star and one side would never face the star. So you would have endless darkness on the night side and permanent daylight on the other side, kind of like how the moon is tidally locked with the Earth. Same scenario. So a lot of people are like, well, how can you have life there if the sun is always beating on one side of the planet and there's no sun beating on the other side? Well, it would be the twilight zone, where the sun looks like it's always going to be setting. So the sun would never move in the sky. It would just look like it's about to set, but it would never actually set. And that would be probably where life would thrive the most. Not to say that life can't thrive on the dark or light side, because life would probably get used to it, and maybe it can travel from day to night and adapt to those circumstances. But you would definitely have ice on the dark side around the midnight position, and you would definitely have blistering hot, like hot desert type temperatures on the noon position on the day side. So those would probably be the dangerous parts of the planet to be on. But it's the twilight zone and maybe a little bit further in on the day side and a little bit further in on the night side, you'd be okay. But other than that, you would want to stick in that twilight zone. Another planet that got me interested was HD 85512b. It orbits a K-star, which is bigger than an M-star but smaller than our sun still. It's like an orange dwarf. So it goes M-star, K-star, G-star, and our sun is a G-star. So G would be the biggest of those 3 types. So it orbits a K-star. It has a year of about 58 days. And it has the same fate as the first one. It would be tidally locked, so same type of conditions as Gliese 581G. So those planets are interesting because of how they're tidally locked. Another planet that a lot of people may have heard about was Kepler 22b. It has a year of 289 days, and it orbits a G star like our own, but it is still a smaller type of G star. It is about, I think it was about 10% to 15% smaller, so still the same class as our sun, but it was a little bit smaller. It does also orbit in its habitable zone, and it definitely would rotate because it is far enough from its star that it would rotate. How long its days would be, we're not 100% sure, because Kepler 22b is 600 light years away, so we're still trying to figure out that information. so those are kind of like some basic ones. Another planet that is my favorite is GJ1214b. It is mostly a water world. It has a year of 38 hours, and it is also an M star. It also orbits an M star. But what's cool about it is they believe it has water on it, whether it's water vapor or water ice. There is definitely water in its atmosphere. They believe that on the night side there would be ice and water. On the day side it would be like water steam. So it's cool in a way because it's a planet that would definitely be pure water, and if it did have any landmass it would just be rocks, like islands of rocks. But they believe that a majority of the planet, like probably like 95 to 99% of its surface is covered in a form of water. Like I said, whether it's gas water, which would be steam, or liquid water, or ice, it's going to have all the stages of water. So yeah, that's another cool one too. So those are just a handful of some planets that could be Earth-like. Like I said, you can Wikipedia those, or you can do your research, a little bit of a mini research on those. My next segment, I am going to talk about the last planet I just talked about, GJ1214b, more in depth, because it is our first ever water world that we are 100% sure exists. I believe it is also 40 light years away as well. So we are going to talk about that solar system on the next segment. Like I said, this is just more of a sample episode to see kind of what you guys think about it, about one of my hobbies about being an online planet hunter. But for sure, we will talk more in depth about that one planet. But leave questions about the ones that I did briefly talk about. I know I didn't talk much about it, but I just kind of wanted to give you guys a feel of it. I know that next topic, or the next segment, we will go more in depth about that last that water planet. We will talk more about it. But I am completely open to talking about any of those other planets if you have any questions about them. And feel free to leave questions and comments, because I love those. And I hope everyone has a great Friday, and I will see you guys most likely on Monday. Hopefully I get over this cold. So happy Friday, and we will talk to you guys on Monday. Have a great day. Bye guys.